Hey guys, just wanted to start off with a reminder at the start of this video that just remember to be patient with the roller coaster up and downs that is known as door dashing. So I know, like I've talked about, I already know some people are going to be kind of critical about the different orders that I take, but remember, it's this right here as far as orders. Last 2 days was all the bad orders and a lot of declines. I was down here. Today was more on like the upswing, and it's up and down, up and down. I decline bad orders, I take bad orders. But the one thing I'll say that stays level, consistent, it never changes for me these whole past 12 months, month to month, is my total dash hourly rate runs about 16 $17 an hour, never changes. My active hourly rate $25 an hour. This was just month to month, practically week to week, 25 bucks an hour. Welcome again to another video. This is Joe, the 50 something dasher. Another recap video for today is Friday, December 8th. And as I previously just mentioned, today was a better day, and only for the second time I accepted every order today. They weren't all great orders, and I'll get to that. But starting with the very first order of the day, so I got this like right the second I logged in to start my dash, 6:06 in the morning. Log in, and then before the map of the city could even, I don't even think that showed up on my screen. It was immediately like this offer, and just like absolute hot garbage right here. $8, 11 miles going south. But I, I believe I started the dash, I want to say 63% on the acceptance. So I got to take this, even though I don't want to go to Darbydale at night, and, and you're driving down 2-lane country road to get there. It's not, it's kind of a little bit of a scary order, but I took it. So I get to Jolly Pirate, and I walk through the doors, and they're like, are you here for such and such order? I was like, no, I'm here for this other person. And they're like, oh, well, there's going to be a wait on that one. And so the ticket for mine, they hadn't even printed that ticket yet and started on it. So they print the ticket, they start on the order. I'm sitting there waiting. I'm thinking, because this order had, especially because it had bagels in it, and they have to run these bagels through a machine, and that takes like 3 or 4, maybe even 5 minutes anytime you get bagels from there. And so I was thinking there was a really good chance that I was going to be dropping this order, 10-minute drop. Um, and so I waited and waited, and but right around that 9-minute range, she's like putting the stickers on the sacks and finishing it up and about to hand it to me. Hands me the order, and I accept, or complete the order, complete the pickup, I should say. Grab the items, walk outside, get out the front doors, and pull up and take a screenshot of my timer. Look at this right here. 9 minutes, 59 seconds, 72 milliseconds. Now, if you're new to the channel, I do, you can do 10-minute drive. I wait until 10.5 minutes, and it doesn't always have to be DoorDash. After about 10.5 minutes on a long wait at a store, you can initiate the drop. And had that had just taken another 30 seconds, this would have been dropped, and I wouldn't even be telling this story. Um, Okay, so I go to this customer, I go down to Darbydale, and the instructions say uh, blue house, leave it on a table, like in the back of the house, like back porch. Okay, so I pull up to this address, and I'm not sure like what this was really like concerning and really kind of freaky here. There was some kind of I saw the long blue house. I mean, it almost, I don't know if it was this a trailer or modular home, or I don't know what kind of house this was, and it looked, I don't know, it looked like a parasitic twin attached to the house. I don't know if that was like, it's like a smaller white trailer, and it was, I couldn't tell, was it attached to the other house or separate, or like, I don't know what all was going on with this situation here. And it was dark and extremely frightening and scary. This complex could have passed for the Pamela Voorhees residence. I mean, straight up. And so I start to walk around like this. I see the front door, and I start walking back, and I see the door to the trailer, and I'm thinking the white trailer, and I'm thinking, well, maybe this is what they mean by the back door. But all I know is past, and the white trailer had lights on, and all I know is that past that, I have no idea what would have been if I would have walked further back into that area, but it was pitch black. Like I said, it was a scary scene, and I didn't want any part of any of that. So I'm dropping this off where the light is, taking my picture, and getting back to my car. And then I close it out, and check this out. $8 all DoorDash, zero tip customer. And I like, you got to be kidding me. And I wouldn't be surprised if this customer originally placed this order like at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and hours went by where no dashers wanted any part of this, and DoorDash had, raised it from $2 to 4 to, so finally they had to raise it to $8 and send it to me right as I'm logging in, before somebody would be foolish enough to take it. Then I'm actually going to pull up next my last screenshot of the day. So fast forward hours later until I've logged off the dash. I've ate my lunch here. I'm outside with the dog. This is well after this like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I see that I have messages from the customers. Of course, when you're driving, DoorDash protects you, and you won't see the messages. So I don't see this until hours later. Like I said, these two messages from this customer. This right here was already in the instructions. Back porch, go to the back driveway. And well, I was on a driveway. Do you mean there was another, like a back driveway back in the back? I mean, you see what I'm saying here? This is like scary as can be. And then so I drop it off in this time frame here, and then that's not my back porch or my part of the house. Well, you know what? Tough. You can tell by the picture where it is, because you live within 10 feet of where I dropped it off. So you can get out of your scary trailer and you can pick that up. You didn't leave a tip, so hey, tough. That, and I don't, the nerve of these customers, and like this right here, I never like that either, where they have something in their instructions and then they go and repeat it and text it to you again. Well, I saw it in the instructions. So that was aggravating. That whole like first order. Um, so then it was funny. I was driving back in the like the country highway, whatever you want to call it. I was driving back. I was about 2.5 miles from an intersection where I was on the phone with my wife. You know, she was on her way to work. I was like, okay, when I get to that intersection, what do you think I should do? Should I go straight and go to like Meyer area, or should I turn left, towards home and towards my other pickup area? And before she could even answer me, this offer pops up, and I was like, "Well, I guess my decision's been made by DoorDash. I'm going to Meyer." So I get this order, and this is a good order. You know, 1675, 10.5 miles, and that's with me being like 4 or 5. You see here, I'm about probably 4.5, 5 miles away from the Myers still. So had I already gotten there, like I might have been, well, like I was maybe wanting to do, if I had gotten there, this would only been 1675 for 5 miles. But anyway, so I take this order, and next shot here is the list. And so how many items? 15 items. And it's mostly single items. I mean, there is the 2 gallons of whole milk, chocolate milk. Um, but this isn't bad. The all three of these Bob Evans things, and I thought there was something else. Um, well, all three of these is in like they call it the prepared foods section. So I know where those were at. Um, these cookies, the bread, that was up front. A couple frozen aisle things. This was a pretty easy shop. I didn't see the Little Debbie Christmas tree cakes. They did have something else in the regular Little Debbie aisle. I didn't see any end cap center aisle displays of holiday Little Debbies anywhere. And when I found everything else, I thought I'd be a good dasher and go clear to the other side of the store and look down, Action Alley over there to see if I could, but I couldn't find them over there either. So I marked it down as unavailable, and Cosmic Brownies was the substitute, so I had to come clear back to the other side again. But that's okay, because that's the side I parked on, so I had to do that anyway. And got the Cosmic Brownies checked out. And then, so the shopping time, I think, was still pretty good, even with going to the one side and coming back. I still shopped this in less than 18 and a half minutes. DoorDash, the recommended time was 29 minutes. So I'm telling you, I can shop. Uh, no organic raspberries. I think the customer substitute on that was strawberries. Yeah, it's right there. Okay, so then I was coming back from this delivery. I'm driving along. I'm minding my own business. I'm not bothering anybody. But I get slapped with a giant eagle order. And it's just great. Now, I mean, but let's say this was Meijer or some other store. Well, this is a great offer. I mean, 1875, only 8.5 miles, and only 8 items. But it's Giant Eagle, so okay. Well, it's still early. It's 7:35 in the morning. Hopefully, the store shouldn't be too busy then. So I get there, and here is the shopping list on this. Now, word of the wise to any newer dashers out there, on shopping orders on potato chips and snacks, make sure to look at your sizes. You see on these Funyuns, that's only a 2.1 ounce, so that's the small little bags. So I knew those were going to be up front at the checkout lanes. These Grippos potato, I never heard of this brand before, but that was actually on an end cap. So I was close to marking those unavailable, but it's kind of sucks, um, it sucks for like dashers and any like Instacart shoppers, whoever. It sucks when stuff is on end caps. I mean, that's good for like your typical customers that are walking down aisles and you want stuff on end caps to catch customers' eyes at spur of the moment buys and stuff like that. But for a dasher that's looking for stuff in specific aisles, it makes it tough. You put something on an end cap. All this other stuff was easy to find pretty much. Had to substitute this bottom item for another size, but everything else was pretty easy. So I get the shopping time on this? Look at this, 8 items, only 9 minutes. I shopped that 9 minutes total, and that's with I probably spent I bet 2 minutes of that was trying to find these potato chips. So, yeah, I flew through the rest of it. Get to the pay screen on that. $10 tip from the customer. Thank you very much. So yeah, that ended up being a good one. Oh, and I forgot to mention after I finished getting all the items, and of course the thing you got to worry about is the checkout lanes. Well, no wait. So there was a cashier standing at one of the lines, no customer. I just went right in and checked out. So I got lucky on this particular job. I think it was because it was so early in the morning. I also got a front parking spot as well. So because of how early this was. Another Jolly Pirate order. The only slight problem with this, you see here, it's going right smack into the center of downtown Columbus. It is 8:27 here, so if hopefully usually you don't hope for a wait inside a place, but in this circumstance I kind of am, because the closer I can get to 9 o'clock, the easier it's going to be for me to get into downtown. So I got to the Jolly Pirate. It was 3 dozen donuts, which wasn't ready yet, but I didn't mind at all standing there waiting, especially for this particular order, because, like I said, the closer to 9 I can get, the better. Um, and then here's like part of the list, and then this was a new one for me. I haven't had the first time dashing that I've seen this, park and valet. That's the first time, and I gotta go up to a third floor, so it is what it is. But still, I mean, 1675. Um, and it was going to a an eye clinic. Um, this and it's probably, was it just 3 stories? It might have been 4 or 5. This whole entire building that took up a whole street corner. The whole thing was like this big gigantic eye clinic. It's pretty crazy. Um, and again, with this was, did I put on here? Well, maybe not. I thought I was able to catch the subtotal on this, but maybe not. But this was, I mean, 3 dozen donuts. This was had to be a fairly expensive order. And again, DoorDash like lowers their base pay. Look at that, $2 because the customer tips so much, $14.50, again, they lower their pay down to $2.25. It just, it kind of sucks. And then I get like, I've talked about, I don't get these very often, but it happens. While I was in downtown, I got an order for Starbucks coming not back to my zone, but close to it, like within 2 miles of my zone, bringing me back down south. And I've mentioned this before, but Starbucks, if any customers in my zone want Starbucks, it has to come from an out of zone Starbucks. So all of the ones here in this zone don't do DoorDash. This drive here from where I'm at that drop off it was picking up from the Starbucks across the street from Children's Hospital, and this was a drive right here. You're talking traffic lights, you're talking the one-way streets, you're talking traffic, and it probably didn't actually take me as long for me to get there as what it seemed like it did. I mean, I was probably over there in about 10 minutes or whatever, but it seemed like 30 minutes. And this is a really busy, really trafficy Starbucks, but they always have a ton of staff in there, and the staff is super nice, and they're really fast. I mean, they had my order and like 3 other DoorDash orders sitting there for pickup. And it would be really nice if I could pick up that Starbucks and put it here into my zone with that staff, and, and be able to pick up Starbucks orders in this zone. But, can't do that, but wish I could. And then, that Starbucks went to a business. And then, before I get to this next order, so at 9:30, I was at $67. So that I was doing really good at closing in on my goal at only 9:30 in the morning. So then I come home, I take my break. No, I'm sorry. I was getting back into the zone. I was making my way home, and in fact I had passed this Burger King when I got this order, and this is I'm automatically accepting this. $2 minimum order, 1.8 miles. If my acceptance rate is in the 60s, this is I'm automatically 1,000% taking this all day long. Because other dashers talk about hell week. Well, see, I stay mindful of acceptance rate and stay on top of it throughout the whole month. Not just wait until the tank my acceptance and wait until the last week. So for me, it's hell month. It's not hell week. So anytime, 70 to 75%, my standards are lowered. And now this week, being in the low 60s for the very first time ever, now my standards are really low. And this is an automatic accept. I get to the Burger King, I pick up this really tiny order that fit in the palm of my hand, hence the title of this video. And I'm just gonna pull this video up and show it like within the, I'm not gonna add it in and have to, pull this video into my editor and do all that. It's only a 13-second video, so I'm just going to turn up the volume here and pull it up within, this video, so I don't have to do an edit. Check this out. Here's the minimum order. This is like baseball size. Maybe some other dashers would like throw it across the room or throw it across the driveway to the front door or whatever, but I won't. and and the funny thing is like it was hand to customer, but this is going to a business. And see, the man, some of these sneaky no tip customers, it's both disgraceful and shameful in my opinion. But they're in a business knowing that they can make this a hand to customer order where the delivery driver is going to get there and just hand it off to some front desk person. The person that placed the order is just off in the warehouse or off in the offices somewhere doing their work or whatever. And they're not going to show themselves or come up to get that food until the driver's long gone. So they don't have to even look at the driver. And because it's so I went up to that, and this was an easy delivery. I just had to wait like 2 minutes inside the Burger King, might have been 3 minutes. Picked up that little tiny order, and it delivered a mile away to a warehouse I've been to many times before. And walk up to the door, and the reception person comes up there and just takes it from you, and you give them the person's name. And like I said, the customer didn't even have to look me in the face. I mean, it's shameful. um and then this next shot here, this irritated me. This is when I was going to close it out, or just before I closed it out. Look at this right here. Deliver by 9:47. You said I haven't closed it out yet. It's technically 4 minutes late, but I saw this right here, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me, DoorDash. On a minimum $2 order, I'm gonna deliver this order whenever the heck I want to. How about that? You're gonna be lucky I'm taking that at all. That rubbed me the wrong way. I'm sorry. Back on track here with a little bit better pain. So what time was this? Okay, so I closed that out at 9:51, 9:52, something like that. Then I was able to come home, and if you're new to the channel, I live pretty much right in the center, between my three pickup areas in my zones. I live right in the middle of the three of them. So a lot of times my very first order of the day, I just wait here at home for the first order, and I have not usually 9:15 to 10:30. I'm here at home waiting on orders, and any time after like noon to 3 p.m., I'll make my way back here and wait for orders if I'm still dashing at that time. But anyway, so I get this order, and the mileage uh, is it's kind of longer mileage, 12 miles, but it's $13. The Meyer and Smoothie King's right across the street from each other. So obviously my low acceptance rate, I'm taking this. And you figure it's 3 of the miles is from home to that area. So that's 3 of the miles. Um, so I got to factor that in, when I do come home for my breaks. And then so I go to Meyer first. Any guess what the one item is? I just had this 2 days ago. Did you guys see the Man on the Mission video? I got it again. You know what time it is. One item, Meyer pregnancy test. I'm telling you, I get these orders. Hey, I'm on a mission again. Friday morning, I should say. Get to Meyer, hightail it in there. Boom, HBC. Get over there. Family planning. They didn't have this. I scanned 2 different items that were a box that looked like that, and clear answer on the button. They didn't scan, so I had to go with a substitute, which they did have. Um, so that's all I had to get from there. Then back across the street to um, Smoothie King, and I guess they're still selling like all the pumpkin flavors or whatever. At least it's all that stuff from October is still on the menu, I guess. And the customer ordered like a pumpkin smoothie, but they couldn't do any of the pumpkin stuff. So they asked me to call the customer, and I did. And then I never had this happen before, but the associate asked if they could talk to the customer. So I handed her, my phone, and she's talking to the customer and getting the substitute. Hey, works for me. I didn't have to mess with getting the substitution and then relaying that to the store associate. So it worked for me. Pick up that order. That only took a few minutes, not too bad. Delivered both orders. These pregnancy tests, I don't think that's ever going to be a hand to customer order. I'll be surprised one of these days if that ever happens. But so far to this point, the 5 or 6 times that I've done this, it's always leave at the door. Those are discreet deliveries. So look at this. This Smoothie King was a 0 tip. I bet it was, well, I don't know. It's hard to say if that's. Can I see if that's? Let me go in and see if I can see a breakdown of the DoorDash pay. I don't think it's broken down, but let me check here. So Friday. And this is the, here it is. Yeah, okay, wait a minute. No, it is broke. No, it's not. Okay, sorry. So it's just $10.75 for total for both orders. The Smoothie King delivered to what is now a really old, really bad apartment complex that it's the first apartments that I lived in here in Grove City in middle school. And then I lived there once as an adult years ago. This would have been 1997. I lived there, but now it's old and depressing, and it figures that I'm sure I've delivered to other 0 tip customers in that complex for sure. You see the pregnancy test took me 2 minutes 38 seconds trying to scan different boxes and figure out the substitution and. Let's go back to my notes here. Next, I get okay, so the pregnancy test delivered just out of zone, and I get prompted. You see here, I'm up to, start a lunch hour. I'm already at $82. So this prompt to switch zones, but the DoorDash says it's only going to be busier than my zone for the next half hour. So, I mean, if we're only talking a half hour, what's the point? So I opted out of that. Then I get another bad order that I got to take. I am right there at Jolly Pirate when this came across. The only problem is it's delivering to an area where I have really bad cell phone service. So I have issues here. If it's a leave at the door, it's not really a big deal because a lot of times I'll just take my picture and then start driving away and then close. You can still use that picture when you're miles away and where you have a better signal, and then you can close it out then. And so that's what I do. Now what happened was, so I get in there for this order, and they haven't had. they at Jolly Pirate, they need to print the ticket first before they'll start making an order. And there was, I guess, the printer is a wireless connection to the DoorDash, system or whatever you want to call it. And they kept trying to mess with this printer. The connection was lost. So they were rebooting it, and then the guy unplugged it, and they're sitting there messing with it. They're messing with the receipt paper and that's in the machine, and doing all this and that. And they apologized to me a couple times. I wait about 3 or 4 minutes, and then I'm like, well, I wonder if I can just drop this and claim, based on that their system is down. And so I get in, hit my question mark, issues at the store, system down, and was able to drop it. So, and then I got out of there, and then so I didn't have to do this order, and it counts as an accepted order for my acceptance rate, and no ding on my completion. Um, I hope that there's safeguards in place. I'm sure there has to be where this doesn't get abused, because there's a lot of opportunistic people out there that'll cheat like any way they can. And there's probably some bad dashers out there that, any order that I don't want to do, I'll just accept every order, and then I'll just drive to the place and then drop it based on system issue. And they do that like every single day, dropping 4 or 5, 10 orders and using that system issue excuse. I hope that it's not getting abused. I hope that it's either not getting abused like that, or if it is, there's some kind of like safeguard in place. DoorDash keeps track of where they see somebody that's doing it too frequently and it looks suspicious, and they're looking into that. I hope. But I'm honest about all of this stuff. That's just how I am. I treat this seriously, and I'm honest. I don't try to cheat the system. I don't try to work the system. I don't take a bad order like this and say, oh, I'll just drive to the Jolly Pirate and I'll sit in my car outside the store, wait 10.5 minutes and drop it and claim it. How are they going to know that it's, that the order wasn't ready for 10 minutes? DoorDash won't know. See, I'm not like that. I don't do that. No, I go in, I wait on the order, and if it's legitimately not ready in 10.5 minutes, I do the drop. This was legitimate. I went in there, they couldn't get that printer working. They couldn't get it connected. It was a system issue. The system was down at that time, and they could not process orders at that time. And so that's what I reported, and I was able to drop it. They give it to some other dasher that can get there 10, 15 minutes later, and that's going to be a better situation. Maybe it's fixed by then. So that's what I did today. Was by no means whatsoever like abusing the system. And like I said, hopefully that's not being done by other dashers. Because that's a good thing, that when there is really legitimately that situation going on, it's good that DoorDash allows you to drop that penalty free. And you just hope that there's not, these bad apple dashers out there abusing that privilege, and then maybe at some point down the line ruining it for everybody. So let's hope. Oh, let's see. My notes got messed up there. Then I get this. So I declined. So that was probably at 11:28, 11:29. You see, just a couple minutes later, I get a much better order. 775, not even 3 miles, and only 6 items. So I didn't have to do that Jolly Pirate and got something better. And so here's my screen when I finish this. Look at this. So those 6 items, I went in there and I found all that in 3 minutes. That's pretty hardcore right there. Now, I mean, these two things obviously were on one shelf. This, and then there was like an OxyClean tub. Those two things were practically next to each other on a shelf. And then you just had the ramen noodles and one other item. So, but I still think 3 minutes is good for that. I think. Deliver that order. Then I get a catering order to round out the day. And this is going to put me over goal. No hidden tips, so I knew straight up 1175 for 15 miles. So this is a bad catering order, which I don't see too often, but what was it, yesterday or the day before, you saw the one that I dropped that was at like over $23 or whatever. This right here, had I been over 75%, this would have been a drop all the way. I would not have taken this, but I'm in the 60s. I'm taking it. And I'm getting tired at this point, kind of hungry. So as soon as I took this, then I hit the button to pause orders after this delivery. So this is going to be my last. I went in there, and now this by far isn't the worst catering order I've done. I've talked about it in other videos. I got a catering order. Now this was before I was on the catering program. One time I got tricked because it was a stacked with something else. I got tricked into doing this catering order it was 5 miles, and I got paid $2, if you can believe that, to a church that didn't tip me. Unbelievable. So I went here. I just had to wait on the fries. Everything else was done. They were making the fries. I went in, used the bathroom, waited another minute or two. That was done. Delivered that to a business out in Groveport. There's the final pay on that. Now, see, some of these other bigger orders I've shown, DoorDash is $2, or in that Jolly Pirate or whatever it was, 250, 275, whatever that was. Here, 375. So I don't know. I don't know why why was base pay a little bit slightly higher for this one, but not the other large order. I don't know. And so then I finished, and here's my final summary here. So a little over 6 hours. I was logged active for almost 5, only about an hour of downtime. Did the 10 orders, $101. Accepted all the offers that I got today, and only had the one of them that I was able to drop. And so I finished with, I want to say 63% acceptance. I finished the dash at 69%. So next week, unless I have other horrible days like yesterday and Wednesday, hopefully I can have no problems getting that back up into the 70s next week. Mileage was not too awfully terrible, 115 miles. So I went over by 13 miles. Not, like I said, not horrible. I'm now at 2,413 orders. Now about 40 orders away from the 3 drops from a week ago. Now about 40 more orders, and those will be gone. I'll be back up to 100%. But anyway, that is the dash for today. Glad I was able to end the week on a higher note. And after those, man, yesterday was awful. If you haven't watched that video, go and watch that video. That was bad. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and check out some of my past videos. And watch out for I've already got it uploaded to YouTube. It airs on Sunday. Check out that video. It's pretty funny. But until next time.